Everyone, welcome back to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. Netherlands versus Poland is our preview podcast today, talking about the Netherlands after a long break. It's been a while again. It always happens in international football, but we're back for two games. We're going to talk about the Poland game at home and the Lithuania game away. Poland's on Thursday, Lithuania's on Sunday. Of course, we'll do live streams after both of the games, so look forward to those. But I'm Michael Statham, Mike Bell is here, Abdul is here, and we're going to talk about two games, the selection. We talked about the selection in one of our most recent live shows, which you can find on YouTube, but we can talk about it a little more again today, especially now Mike's here. I know Mike sometimes gets to watch as well some of the players playing in other leagues than the Eredivisie. Let's get into it, guys. How are you both feeling ahead of these two games? Are you quite confident given that it's looking like the Netherlands may well qualify for the World Cup, even at this early stage?
Yeah, we can be happy in both ways with the selection of players, with the quality of players we have. So much quality and so many good players actually were left. They were not selected just because you only have to pick 23 players or 25 players. And of course, also we came from two wins. We defeated Finland 2-0 away. It was a relatively easy match. And of course, the next one was against Malta. 8-0. So it's a perfect record, two wins, 6 points, clean sheets, and so many goals. It's a perfect start for us in the campaign. And hopefully we can continue this campaign against Poland with a win. We have the quality to make this match easier than how it should be.
Yeah, I think there's a level of expectation now that these are going to be two wins that basically seals the qualification. There's part of me that's disappointed that the squad is still the same up front. I think there was an opportunity here to maybe give somebody a chance. I think he's opted to go for more centre backs than were needed, and he could have maybe picked a striker in there just to test one out. I think Omega's 3 goals in his last 2 games. Meerdink's playing games for AZ. I think there's an opportunity to test them. I know that I saw a Dutch journalist from AZ is basically saying, don't make any changes to this squad, get the job done, and then if we win these 2 games, then you can start to experiment going forward. But there's also the talk that there's not much time left until the World Cup, and if you're not going to do it now, then are you going to do it in the next international break when there's even less time to blood these new players and see how good they are? So yeah, I think there's still a fear that going into a World Cup next year that Weghorst and Memphis are going to be the 2 players that we're relying on to win this World Cup. And when you think that the rest of the squad's so strong, it's very disappointing that you're left relying on them 2 up top, and that's your only 2 options.
Yeah, good start, guys. Previewing the game there, giving us some results from last time, and talking about the squad that we've got here. Always the same problems with the squad selection we have. That there's those real quality players in it. Some players that have been selected that maybe haven't made too many minutes for their clubs, and then the lack of a real top quality striker. We talked a little bit about this in our last podcast, Abdul and I, with striker options. Why not just call up Max Meerdink and play him into form in the Netherlands side? But to be fair, having watched him quite closely so far this season, he's got bags of potential. Some flashes of absolute quality. I just think still he could do more for AZ maybe in the build-up play. And he still hasn't dethroned Troy Parrott as the first choice striker for AZ, but he's certainly getting minutes there. It's one of those things if Troy Parrott was Dutch, would you play him as the number 1 Netherlands striker? Throw it too off topic here. But in terms of the quality of Meerdink, is he really ready to start playing games for Netherlands? And I'm not saying maybe as a sub, yeah, but you want him to displace Weghorst at the minute. I don't know if he's good enough.
He is the only option left we have. In the beginning of the season, I had very high expectations in Pirou, but unfortunately, I think he lost his position. The previous match he did not play. No other attackers are impressive nowadays, except for Mirdink. He scored some good goals that showed some quality, actually. So he is the only option. I was hoping for, as Mike said, I was hoping that Koeman selects him this time, and maybe he can play as a sub, in the second half or something. But he's completely out of the picture. Now Weghorst is 33. He's gonna be 34 next year. Depay is going to be 32 next year. It's not really a good idea to depend on them. So I don't know what's going to be the plan, really.
But I think Omega is the one that needs to be called in. I think that there seems to be, I don't know, to me, I think the Dutch media are ignoring him, and I think he doesn't get talked about enough. I think that Koeman only gets asked about Meerdink when, Omega is captain of Strasbourg, 3 goals in 2 games, tall, really fast, can score goals.
He's not playing in the Netherlands at the moment. That's probably why, but it doesn't excuse it.
And he's going to probably join Chelsea next summer. It's crazy that nobody seems to be talking about him. I think he even put on a post on Instagram basically being like, basically saying what more do I need to do to get called in when you're picking Memphis and Weghorst. I know that he had a shaky first game of the season. He missed a few chances in the Conference League, but then he made up for it in the second game. And yeah, he missed the game of the weekend because he had a slight injury. But I think of all the strikers that Netherlands have, I think he's shown the most potential. He only missed under 21 euros because of an injury. I think that the forward line for them would look much better if he was there. So yeah, I'm getting a bit, annoyed that even when Koeman's got press conferences like he did today, he's getting asked pointless questions about Ihataren, and nobody's asking him, Strasbourg's captain, they're in Europe scoring goals in the French league, why aren't you picking Omega? Because it just seems to be glossed over at the moment.
Yeah, really valid question. Omega is, from what I can see from a distance, having not watched him play games, a Dutch striker scoring goals, and that's the thing that we are lacking. But equally, there's a point to be made that the Netherlands at the minute aren't exactly struggling to score goals, but I also know the opposition hasn't been as tough. I said to Abdul in the last show we did, the live show, we reacted to the Netherlands clubs, Dutch clubs playing in Europe, and at the end of it, we talked about the squad. And we said, if we're scoring 5 goals over 2 games against Spain, are we really struggling that much to be worried about a striker? But we do keep going about being like that final piece of the puzzle needed that gets you out those games. That maybe beats Spain 4-3 rather than draw 3-3. Those kinds of things.
Yeah, I think there's still that kind of edge that you have, and especially in games where, say, we're playing against Spain where there's a lot of space at the back. If you are playing, say, Gakpo, Memphis, and for instance, Xavi Simons, where's the pace? Like, how are you going to get in behind? So that's why I think that really lacks. If you don't play someone like Malin, where is the pace in that front line? And that's why somebody like Omega, I think, would be perfect because he is fast. He was recorded as the fastest player in the French league last season. So having him up front as an option off the bench would be perfect.
Let's talk about some of the players in the team that have been called up. Just got some questions. I mean, I do keep a really close eye on the Eredivisie, just like Mike does. But I think, Mike, you watched some of the games of teams in other leagues. Has anyone stood out for you lately, and anyone maybe lacking minutes now? How's, for example, Noah Lang getting on since he's left PSV? And other players as well. I mean, I heard Memphis got 13 minutes off the bench, was it, before being called up to this squad?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead,
okay.
Abdul.
No, it's okay, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you could go through every line of this team and say there's players that aren't playing. Ake was going to link to a move to Everton because he's sort of fallen out of favour at Man City.
Yeah.
Koop Miners isn't playing at Juventus. He comes off the bench. Third line, you got Malin, who finally started for Aston Villa but got hooked off. Noah Lang's only coming on for 5 minutes at Napoli. Simons, he's just joined Tottenham, so he's not playing regularly. De Vrij, again, aging. Does he really need to be there? I think there's question marks over, is Koeman picking players because he knows them versus is he picking players that are on form? And you can't say that 5 or 6 of these are in there on form.
Yeah, I think selecting De Vrij was a surprise. He's old now, and I don't think it's a good idea to have De Vrij and Van Dijk, where they both will be like 35, I think, next year. Van Dijk, of course, is a must, but De Vrij, he doesn't even play as a starter now, as far as I'm concerned. There are some names that actually raise some questions, like Nathan Ake, for example, as Mike said. I don't know why he was selected, really. But again, Koeman is always Koeman. Let's see how he's gonna play this match. But I'm not really expecting much in the starting lineup. Really, the only thing I'm questioning is whether it's gonna be Weghorst or Depay up front, because Depay just got back from an injury. So I don't know if he's gonna start with him or start with Weghorst, or maybe Depay for like 45 minutes and then he subs him for Weghorst.
We'll talk a little about the opposition later. It's like Koeman's always 6 months to a year behind what's actually going on with the form of players. It's like he keeps waiting and waiting, and he's not really being proactive, is he? Like he could well drop a few of those players and bring some of those new exciting players in, give them a go. The squad's mostly the same. The starting 11 probably will stay the same. I mean, excitement here. We could well see Jurgen Timber, Van der Ven play, who, as far as I know, are doing well. I mean, Semstein getting his first call-up. Of course, if he's selected, got a couple of games for final under his belt now. He's not playing for Twente anymore, and of course he gets selected. But he has been good, captain of finals, scoring goals from attacking midfields. Tijani Reinders making his transfer to Man City and looking high quality. But then you've got some others as well that maybe are a little out of form. I mean, I watched Marlon play for Villa the other day, and he wasn't great. But then, to be fair, his pace wasn't really used that much, getting in behind the back line.
The problem is Malin is the only option to play as a right winger. If you don't consider Simmons to play there, because Simmons never impressed as a right winger. So you only have Malin left, and as you said, he is not even a starter. The last match he did not really perform well. So is Koeman gonna try again Simmons as a right winger? I really hope that won't be the case, because he failed in that position many times. So I don't really know what Koeman is planning to do.
Can I ask Mike for which his starting 11 would be from this selection? I'll be interested to hear who you go with on the right wing, Mike, without Frimpong being here. Are there any other notable injury absentees, by the way? So sort of two questions there. I know it's Frimpong's missing. Who would your starting 11 be? And then I'll be interested to hear what Abdul thinks, what he'd change about that starting 11.
Yeah, so in terms of 11, you've got Verbruggen in goal. I think that's pretty settled. I think Roos has had a really good start to the season with Sunderland, but yeah, I think Verbruggen is number one. I think the back four would be Dumfries, right back, Van der Ven, left back, centre partnership of Van Dijk and Van Hecke. Left wing, Gakpo. Right wing, for the pace element. But I just don't think you pick him. I think it's going to be Simmons. I can't necessarily say that it's going to be Malin. I think it will be Simmons. And I think in the middle, you've got Ravenberch and Reinders and Frankie de Jong. And then up front, it's going to be possibly Weghorst, given that Memphis isn't 100% fit.
It's quite hard to argue with that three in midfield, isn't it, Abdul? It's quite a selection there. That's really strong, and it will help the Netherlands for that technical ability, breaking a team down like Poland. Would you change anything?
I just don't think Gravenberch works well with the Reinders. One of them will have to play, not both of them, in my opinion. I think it's going to be Frankie and Reinders, or Gravenberch, because they are both the same level now. They both are great. The third one is the problem. Is it going to be Simmons as an attacking midfielder, or maybe Reinders? I don't know if Koeman will start with the Reinders. I mean, he proved everything.
He will.
Yeah, that could be a good option if it's going to be Frankie de Jong, Reinders, and Stein. Yes. The front line, I agree with Mike. I think Koeman will end up with Simmons as a right winger, and then Weghorst and Gakpo as a left winger. Yes.
I can really see Reinders playing in the 10 with Hamburg and Frankie de Jong playing together. It's the midfield that I think lots of Netherlands fans want to see as well. It's really exciting with all that ability in there. Plus, you have got Stein to come on as well. I would like to see him get a start, but I know he won't get one.
I think Kluivert's probably ahead of him in the queue as well. I think Kluivert has done okay. I know he's been injured for Bournemouth, so he's only coming back. But yeah, I think Sam Stein will be a substitute against Lithuania. I don't see him starting either game, sadly. I think Koeman's brought him in just to have a look at him because I think the pressure is there from the Dutch press to pick him. I think we all knew it was going to happen as soon as he signed for Feyenoord. But I don't even think that... I know he's done well and he's scoring goals, but I don't even think Sam Stein's been the best midfielder at Feyenoord this season. So, yeah, it's one of these ones that I think he's picked him because of the pressure of the Dutch media that he had to do it. Whether he deserves to be there, not 100% sure, and whether he's going to stay there for the World Cup, I have major doubts to that.
Koeman started some matches with Kluivert as an attacking midfielder, and it worked very well. So maybe he will do that again this match, especially the match against Poland. Maybe Kluivert will be as an attacking midfielder and Simons as a right winger. But I hope he performs better this time as a right winger, really.
So looking at the opposition then, we've got 2 games this week. We've got Poland on Thursday and Lithuania on Sunday. This is predominantly a preview to the Poland game. So if you have a quick look at the opposition, you've got players that are well known for their time across Europe. You've still got the same old names. You've got Lewandowski. We've got Szymanski, who used to play for Feyenoord way back now. Matty Cash being a prominent figure on the right side of defence. Is anyone you're kind of worried about? Is Lewandowski still a major concern for the Netherlands defence?
I would talk about the entire team. Poland hasn't been a consistent team lately. They lost to Finland. I think that was a big surprise to all of us. Even the match against Lithuania, they won 1-0. It wasn't an easy match, I believe. So, of course, Lewandowski can always be a threat. But other than that, we should not have a problem with them, really. After all, results speak for themselves. They haven't been playing well lately. I even started to suspect that they can defeat Finland in the next match. The second match after they play Holland, they will play Finland. I doubt. I have my doubts that they can win. So maybe we can have a good match against them and win with a good result.
Yeah, I think they just sacked their coach, didn't he, who had the falling out with Lewandowski, and that's why Lewandowski's back, because they sacked the coach who sort of fell out with him. Even looking at the squad, there's not any really names that, apart from Lewandowski, Piatek, who looked good at one point, he's playing in Qatar now. I guess the star midfielder is still Zielinski, the Inter Milan midfielder. He's going to make his 100th cap against the Netherlands. He'll be one to impress. They've got decent players. There's Zielinski at Atalanta, Szymanski at Fenerbahce, who from Feyenoord. But if you can't beat this Poland side at home, then should you really be going to the World Cup and hoping to win it? With the quality the Netherlands has, you'd expect in both these games to be wins. But yeah, you've always just got to guard against complacency and from set pieces, from free kicks, corners. Lewandowski's always going to be a threat. So you got to play smart. You got to finish your chances, score earlier on, and then have a comfortable afternoon. And relying on you got to be dominant in possession. Just don't do anything stupid against this Poland side because they've got capability to hurt you. But yeah, going into this, you should be pretty confident it's going to be a comfortable win, you'd think.
Yeah. Looking at the previous results, we've got a 1-0 win for Poland at home to Lithuania, 2-0 win at home to Malta, 10-man Malta, and then a 2-1 defeat away to Finland. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just another one of those things where another one of those times where as a Netherlands fan, you sit and go, we are better than this team. If we draw or lose against this team, we shouldn't be going to this World Cup. This is why we are confident of finishing top of this group. And with a flourish of hope as well. Just too much quality, really, and it would be a massive letdown if we didn't win the game.
Yeah. Well, so far we are doing well. I think we said this before in a previous stream. Koeman started to play better, starting from the match against Spain, actually, where it ended 2-2. Since then, the team is getting better and better every time. Even the win against Finland was nice. It was done in the first half when we were playing away. So I hope this continues. We continue growing. And we should not have a problem both matches. I think second match against Lithuania, if we maybe score 2 or 3 goals, Koeman is going to start, substituting some players. Maybe he will let Stein play as a starter. I would love to see Stein playing even the first match against Poland, but as you guys said, I doubt that. Yeah.
Score prediction for the game?
3-0 for Holland.
I'll go 2-0.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Netherlands. Tricky one, maybe then we're saying, but I'll just see how the Netherlands play, see if they can excite us and give us a good performance. We're near the end of a transfer window right now, today, as we speak. So when people listen to this, it'll probably be shut. But a lot of clubs have been busy. A lot of Dutch players have been busy. One name that sticks out really the past weeks has been Brian Brobby, a player that was called up for the Netherlands a number of times, has had a dreadful last season with Ajax, but before then looked promising, and his career is just, it needs a refresh. It needs a restart, probably outside of the Netherlands, where he can be out of the way of the Dutch media and restart himself. What's the latest news on his transfer, Mike? And can he reboot his career?
Yeah, it looks like he's signing for Sunderland. As a Newcastle fan, I don't want him to reboot his career. I'd rather be saying, he's going to be absolutely terrible. But I just think if he's looked like one of the worst finishers as an Ajax striker in years in Eredivisie, this Eredivisie, is he really ready for the Premier League? I doubt it. It's probably well for Ajax that have managed to get a fee close to 25 million for him on the basis of his last year.
Unbelievable.
He needs to go somewhere where he's going to play regularly. He needs to start. He needs to score goals. Is the Premier League the best place for him? Probably not. If he plays badly, has a couple of shockers, he's going to be benched. If Sunderland don't do well and they go down, he's going to be a championship player. It's the same for Gertruida. If he's going to go there and he's got, if they've got an obligation to sign him, that's possibly 3 Dutch players that if they don't stay up, that's 3 potential national team players that could get relegated. But it's a move that he needed to make, but it's just not the right league for him, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think this could be the last chance for Brobby to prove himself, or to rebuild his career. If he fails this year, I don't think he will ever rebuild it. So I really hope he can. We need him also for Oranje, but he needs to start scoring again. Gertruida has been doing well with Oranje. I was even expecting Koeman to select him for this this international break, because he has been doing well with Oranje, even if he's playing as a sub in his team, But even if he's a sub in his team, I really hope this continues with Sunderland. It's going to be like 4 Dutch players, I think. So we will be watching this team closely, just like how we do with Liverpool. Yeah.
Some breaking news is now free because Sealt, the centre backs, joined Wolfsburg on loan, so that's just happened. So there's 1 less, but 3 potential national team players in that Sunderland side.
Yeah.
So many Dutch players in the Premier League. When I remember speaking to a few of the Brighton players a while ago, and that was when there were roughly 20-something players, that were Dutch in the Premier League. Now there's
37.
Close to 40? It's crazy.
37 or 38,
Doesn't surprise us in some ways, though, does it? The Premier League is like where everyone wants to play, and Dutch players always want to play in either Serie A, the Premier League, or with Barcelona. That's just the way they're kind of brought up, isn't it? So, this is more players never there. Another one that's joined is Xavi Simons. Your thoughts on that one? is it a move that could suit him? For me, Premier League, physicality, and Xabi Simons don't really go well together, but maybe he will bring his dynamism to the Premier League that Spurs might benefit from. They've got a lot of technical players that are quick, good at football. He's just one of those, I think, isn't he? And then he did a number 10.
Yeah, I worry about the physicality of it. He's one of these players that, as a fan, you could easily get frustrated with him if he does what he does with the Netherlands and, loses the ball quite a lot, throws his hands up, does his sad face that we always see is. But
we've said it now; it's out in the
open. But I do think that this Tottenham side looks a lot better than it did last year under Thomas Frank. So I do think he's joining a team that has a lot of potential, and if he can thrive there, then it takes his game to the next level. He's always looked like he's the sort of player that might suit a PSG or a Barcelona where they've got a lot of the ball, they get a lot of time. He's going to get a lot of time on the ball. He's going to be able to do it in the Premier League. We'll wait and see. But if he can, then his game's only going to grow to the next level. And then we might be saying that, right, he's nailed down the 10 position and that's where he's going to play for the Netherlands. Because right now we're like, is he a 10? Is he the right winger? Where's he going to play? Or is he going to get shoehorned in? This is his chance to be an established week in, week out Premier League star. And I think when, Gravenberch went to Liverpool, we might have been a bit like, is he going to be able to do it week in, week out in such a physical, demanding league? And now you could say he's one of the best midfielders in the world. And that's the development that he's made in the Premier League. So if Xabi Simons can do that, then it's only going to benefit the Dutch national team going forward.
Yeah.
Any other movers that you want to talk about on deadline day?
One that I'm excited about, I've said it off air as well, is Isaac Babadi going to Royal Antwerp. I know it's not for a national team now, but in a couple of years, him playing regularly. And one that didn't happen, I think really needed to happen for his career, was Joey Veerman missing out on the move to Brentford. I think that the chances of him going abroad right now are getting slimmer and slimmer. And he just can't seem to get out of the Eredivisie. And I think that's going to hamper him because I think that Koeman's already decided he's not now an option for the national team. And if he's stuck at PSV for another year, then he doesn't get that chance to grow. And it's the same for Schouten as well. The two of them are sort of Eredivisie players at the moment. And the way that PSV is looking at the moment, and that shock loss to Telstar at the moment, at the weekend, means that they're going into a Champions League campaign looking like they could potentially be worse off squad-wise than they were last year, which could end up being a disaster. And then going into a World Cup year, you want to be playing regularly, playing well. And after that result of the weekend, it's all a bit of a shell shock around PSV.
That's the kind of result that's going to carry PSV, isn't it? It's going to carry with them the whole season. Because you can probably count on one hand the amount of times they're losing the league this season, and they'll always remember that home defeat to Telstar. Such a shock defeat. Telstar, by the way, played very, very well, and I cannot forget that. But, players like Joey Veerman are meant to open the deadlock in those kinds of games. He came off the bench at half-time. I think Veerman moving to the Premier League would be not a good move for him. But then there's PSV fans that go, we'd like the money for his sale, but equally he's so important to our play, and knowing that him going to the Premier League isn't going to work out for him. It's interesting how he fits the system so well at PSV and the league, by the way, a league where you have more time in the ball, you can create more, but it wouldn't really suit, the Premier League just because of physicality.
Yes, I think Veerman, I think he should stay, really. His team is going to be in the Champions League. If he goes to England, to the Premier League, I don't think he's going to go to a team that will participate in the Champions League, like Brentford, for example. So it's better for him to stay. But I think, as you guys said, he's out of the picture for Oranje. You can think of at least 7 or 8 players before you start thinking about him, being selected. So, yeah.
It was obvious when he played, wasn't it? How bad he was at that stage and that level when he played with them before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another player that I think there's a couple of players that I think should have moved in this transfer window. There's a couple that are stuck now at clubs. You look at Thijs de Linge at Bologna, not getting a game for them anymore. when he could have probably come back to the Eredivisie. You've got Memphis at Corinthians. There's stuff going on at that club where he's not getting paid. Seem to be money issues. He could have moved back to Europe, but one to keep an eye on, striker-wise, is Myron Boadou's back at PSV. He actually did pretty well at Bochum last year in the Bundesliga. Even though they went down, he actually scored goals. So if he can bring his potential and be that one that scores some goals for PSV as a backup to Pepe, then you never know. He could be a late bloomer that surprises us and makes the squad, because if you're starting striker for PSV, you automatically become an option for Koeman.
One of the surprises I witnessed, during the match between PSV and Telstar, PSV did not really attack that much. They did not really have too many chances, So I don't know where the problem is. Is it with the attackers? Is it Telstar, the team that actually played well-organized football and do very well in a very good way? I'm not really sure. PSV kind of scares me now. I don't want the team to collapse in the Champions League.
Yeah, there's no way that this team, having played this way against Telstar, can raise the level enough for me to finish in the top half of that Champions League this season.
Yes.
It's a step back, but I still think they have enough to win the Eredivisie. You say about Telstar, I'm genuinely gobsmacked by how well they played.
Yes.
But PSV should still beat these players that were set up very well tactically. Correa's men, maybe Peter Bosz got surprised by that. The PSV players got surprised by it, but it was all too ponderous and slow and out
the
wide.
Fighting spirit was amazing. The fighting spirit was amazing by the team.
Yeah, I think for Dutch football fans, I think you're worried right now about PSV after that result. You're worried about Ajax, given what's happening there. Drew Volendam signings haven't been great. Losing players today. Potentially Traore as well, even though I don't think that's a major loss.
Well, we're used to it every summer. Dutch clubs lose players, they get new players, they have young players, and they grow and get better. By the end of the season, we'll probably wonder what we're worrying about. But it might come too late, of course, for the Champions League games. I can see your point.
Yeah, but I think on the other hand, I think that AZ have recruited well in the last couple of weeks in terms of doing well in the Conference League. I think the Feyenoord look decent now. They're the only team that have won all their games now in the Eredivisie. So I think going into the Europa League, I think that they look strong. I think the only question mark is probably Van Persie. I think that Luciano Valente finally getting a start at the weekend. Everything went through him. He looked like the player that we all knew he was going to be. And you hope that sort of twigs Van Persie to realise that he's undroppable going forward, and then maybe he'll be the next one that gets called up. I think I forgot to make a prediction about who will be the next debutant in the Netherlands squad. I think if I had to pick two players, one would be Valente and one would be hopefully Omega. So I think that if you want a prediction for me, that those two will potentially be the ones that could make a surprise selection ahead of the World Cup.
Valente was a major boost for Feyenoord in this match. We could see the result 4-0. I know Sparta got a red card, but still it was 2-0 before the red card with full domination for Feyenoord. So hopefully Valente will prove himself as a starter in Feyenoord, and then he might be selected for Oranje as well. Speaking of the Dutch teams, I think Utrecht could be the only impressive team so far that really impressed in Europe. They won all the matches, even in the Eredivisie. They are very consistent, playing well, playing attacking football with some good players, actually.
Yeah. I was at Alkmaar as well since losing their really embarrassing game away in Finland. Have won 7 out of 8, drawing only 1. And I think they look really solid and set with the starting 11. You've got 2 strikers that are going to score goals and are quality. You've got enough attacking midfield options now. A couple of really good signings. New winger. I think they're set up really well, but they are a concern if either Wouter Goes or Alexandre Penetra, their 2 centre-backs. One of those gets injured, I think they're scuppered. And out of nowhere, by the way, I don't think he's good enough for a national team call yet, but keep your eyes on Mace de Wit. He's playing for AZ now, left-back, who was the second choice left-back for a couple of years. People didn't really like him, thought he was going to leave AZ this summer. And now he's their first choice left back, and actually it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Dow as well. I think that if you're looking for players that could potentially be a future Netherlands star, he looks like a real talent. He's in the under-21s now. He got the call up for them. He looks like a real dribbling wizard. I know that we obviously got the red card to sort of tarnish his name, but he looks really, really, really good. Keith Smith's doing Keith Smith stuff. Not yet at the level where we want to be like, okay, he needs to be in a national team now, but he's getting better. I think this is
Well,
so
it wasn't
far
a
shown
starter,
that,
was he?
yeah. So far
He is.
he's shown that he's better than what he was last season. He just needs to take his game to the next level, score some goals, and then I think he'll become national team level. An outside shot that he's playing for young PSV at the moment, but they have a left winger called Thomas, who looks really, really good.
He's into 19s at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah, and the highlight clips of him, he seems to just be destroying everyone on the left-hand side. The dribbling that you see from him is sort of reminiscent of Calvin Stengs when he broke on the scene, just taking players on, constantly beating them. I think if he can develop over the next season, he can jump up to PSV first team next season, and then he can be an option. And, Abdul, brought him up before the stream started, but great to see Somerville back for West Ham, doing well. And I think that if he keeps playing like that, then he also becomes a good option for that right wing.
Yeah, he could be an option for the right wing. He could be the second option after Frimpong. Now we only have a Frimpong, and he's injured. And look, we don't have another winger. We have to play with probably Simmons there. We also need to talk about Stengs. To be honest, I wasn't happy that he left Feyenoord. I think he was very important last season. I saw the match against Bayern München. He created a penalty for the team, and he was really good. I did not really want him to leave. I think Feyenoord still needs him, but he's gone after all.
Yeah, I think that Stengs for me will always be the player that, if you say, "Oh, what could have happened?"
Yeah, one that got away.
Yeah, he's the one that got away from the Netherlands because he looked nailed on to be a superstar when he first broke out. But yeah, injuries have just scuppered him. He's too slow now. I was amazed the other day when I was writing up that he's joined Pisa that he's still only 26.
Yeah,
he's still so young.
Do you guys think Boadu can prove anything with PSV?
I hope so. He's got pace. He can score goals. He showed it in the Bundesliga at points last season. He just needs to stay fit, and if he does that, then you'll get game time. And he's at a club now where he does come into the national team reckoning because, yeah, if you're a starting striker at Ajax, PSV, or Feyenoord, then you're automatically in the running for national team. It's already shown that Stein doesn't get in, can be top goal scorer at FC20, but as soon as you go to Feyenoord, you're automatically a national team prospect. So Boadu, when he was at FC20, didn't really show it. But if he does it for PSV, then yeah, I think he could.
And if he impresses, if he scores in the Champions League, sorry, Michael, if he scores in the Champions League and he proves himself, he could be our solution for the attacker position, for the striker position for the Netherlands.
If you watched our podcast many years ago, talking to the listeners now, you'll know that we talked about Boadu years ago being that striker, or maybe playing off the left for the Netherlands. It says it all, though, that the starting striker of PSV scoring goals probably gets into the national team. Luke de Jong wasn't that, unfortunately. But Joey Veerman, for example, who's a starting player for PSV, isn't good enough because of all the midfield options we have. Whereas, a striker it's still what we need. And I do want to mention about RZ again. Yeah, K. Smith is going to be a future Netherlands international. Definitely developing at a fast rate of knots. Past 6 months have gone so quick for him. He's come on so much. Yeah, Sven Meinens is probably still their best attacking midfielder, and he's nowhere near, I would suggest, a national team call-up. So Smith has got to go a number of levels yet before he can be a national team player, especially if he's going to do it with RZ. But I have to say, one final note on RZ is that they are talking a good game now with their confidence. Martin's a manager, looks a different character on the touchlines. He's looking more animated now. I said how flat he was recently. got players signing new contracts. Minen's new contract. Penetra's going to sign a new contract. They're talking up their game now for the Conference League. They think they could do something this season in the competition. We're really exciting for Dutch football fans. Stuff to keep an eye on our head this season. I talked a little bit about NEC United making people want to keep your eyes on if you're an Eredivisie hipster, but I think Dutch football fans, Netherlands fans, will also like watching RZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's plenty, if you're looking at the future of the Dutch national team, there's plenty at the top of the Eredivisie. Even Utrecht with Ezekiel, you're looking at him, you're like, oh, he's a potential future Netherlands midfielder. The under-21 squad at the moment, it's a fresh one that's just been named, and there's a lot of potential in there. It's a mix of the ones that were still young enough from the European Championship squad, plus the ones that won under 19 Euros. So it's like a melding of those two squads. So I think that's exciting to see what they can do with Keith Smith potentially being the star of that midfield. So yeah, I'm excited to watch them. I think they've got one Euro qualifier against Israel coming up, so that'll be interesting to see how they do. Since we weren't exactly complimentary of how they did the European Championships, even though they got quite far, interesting to see how they do in the qualifiers.
The thing is, many players after the World Cup will also be available for the Euro, for the 2028 Euro, and by then we will also have some other rising stars as the guys you guys mentioned, Smith, Zechiel, many others. So the team will be crowded than how it is right now. It's already crowded, with stars. So it looks very bright, actually. The future does look very bright. We just need to find a way to win matches and to create win a glory. I think we've been waiting for many years. Hopefully this is the time we win something.
Hopefully the future's bright orange then.
Yeah.
I think we better wrap up. We've talked about the game a long time ago now, the Netherlands-Poland game coming up on Thursday, but we will, of course, be back for a live stream after that game. Check it out on YouTube, and then we'll do another live stream after the Lithuania-Netherlands games. No match preview for that one, but live stream after the game. I think there's much more to say in this one, but if anyone enjoyed it, wants to ask us questions or saying about the podcast, leave a comment on YouTube, and don't forget to give it a like, of course, as well, the video, and we'll see you again for the live stream. So until then.
Should we make a prediction for the match against Lithuania?
Not yet. I think that's an after the game against Poland.
Okay, then it's fine, yeah. All right.
Bit keen there, Abdul. Bit keen.
No, I was just asking.
All right, everyone. See you everyone soon, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.